Hello, it's me, Strange NA, and today I am back with another video. This is Dwayne Theory, as we are looking at Dwayne Johnson in space. This is, of course, just a bunch of random calculations for no reason. First question. How many Dwayne Johnsons would it take to reach space? Now, this would seem relatively simple, as we just need to know where the Kármán line is. So, as you can see, there's a little diagram for you. The Kármán line is a theoretical boundary between the Earth's atmosphere and outer space. The border is 62 miles from sea level, and we shall now work out how many Dwaynes you would need to reach it. The facts. There's the man himself, obviously. The Kármán line is 62 miles from sea level. Dwayne Johnson is 1.96 meters tall. This is equivalent to 0.001217888 miles. And 62 is divisible by 0.001217888 a lot of times. That's 50,907.8010457 to be precise. So let's move on to the conclusion of the first question. There's our Dwayne stack there. The 50,908th Dwayne Johnson would be past the Kármán line if they were stacked on top of each other. Next question. How many Dwayne Johnsons can you fit in and on the ISS? Now, the ISS is that, as it would happen. The ISS, or International Space Station, is a man-made satellite that orbits the Earth. The purpose of the ISS was to collect information and data about space and what happens when living things interact with it. But today we are going to do science that the ISS have never seen before. This is, of course, the best kind of science, Dwayne science. Let's move straight into the facts. There's the ISS once again. And there's our crew of Dwayne Johnsons. Disclaimer, this maths is probably wrong, but we'll ignore that. The ISS has 932 cubic meters of interior space. It's surprisingly hard to find out how big the rocket is in cubic meters, but I've calculated to be 0.07977764,705 meters cubed in size. This means that 11,682.470397 Dwayne Johnsons could fit on the ISS. I know this sounds like a lot, but you have to trust the calculator. More facts. There is our Dwayne Johnson covered ISS, as we will now be finding out how many Dwayne Johnsons could fit, on the ISS. Not inside it, but on it. For the exterior, the surface of the ISS is 4,277 meters squared, and a Dwayne Johnson can lie on his back and take up to 1.158 meters square of space. So let's work out how many. This means that 3,693.436960228 Dwayne Johnsons could lie on the ISS. The next question. Well, that was interesting, but what else can we research? How about this? How far could a rocket travel using Dwayne Johnson as fuel? This took so long to do this one. I hate this, but okay, here we go. The rocket. For this experiment, the rocket we'll be using is the Saturn V rocket. The Saturn V contains 203,400 gallons of kerosene fuel and 318,000 gallons of liquid oxygen, meaning it holds 521,400 gallons in total. That fuel would weigh in at 4,348,476 pounds. This rocket produced a power output of 190 gigawatts for 2.5 minutes, meaning it could produce 4,560 gigawatts hours. The Saturn V can reach an altitude of 118 miles before the fuel runs out. The fuel. 1 gallon of kerosene has about 39,564 watts of energy, so when we multiply this by the amount of gallons in kerosene in the rocket Saturn V's fuel tank, we get 8,47,317,600 watts of energy. Because I can't find any results for how much energy liquid oxygen produces, I'll replace it with more kerosene, producing a further 12,581,352,000 watts of energy, making a combined energy output of 20,628,669,600 watts. There is the man, of course. An average human contains 89,600 megajoules at a time. But because the rock is more than average, let's find out how much more than average he is. The average human is 1.7 meters tall, and Dwayne Johnson is 1.96 meters tall. This means the rock is 1.15294117647 times the average height. An average human male who is 1.96 meters tall weighs 187 to 229 pounds. The average of this being 208 pounds. The rock weighs 260 pounds because of its extra muscle. So he is 1.25 times the average weight. From both these stats, we can work out that the Dwayne Johnson is on average 1.20147058823 times the average. So, if we get this number, this means that Dwayne Johnson has 1.20147058823 times the amount of energy as an average human, if all the data is correct, which it probably isn't, but we'll ignore that. Dwayne Johnson produces 107,651.764705 megajoules of energy. The tank. As we previously worked out, the tank contains 521,400 gallons of fuel. This is equivalent to 2,370.3133 cubic meters. We worked out that Dwayne Johnson is 0.07977764705 meters cubed in size for the previous question, which leads us to the conclusion that 29,711.72274 Dwayne Johnson could fit on the fuel tank. You must acknowledge that somewhere some math is probably wrong, but we're going to go with it anyway. The 29,711.72274 Dwayne Johnson have a combined energy output of 3,198,598,385.39 megajoules, or 888.47760705277778 gigawatt hours. The maths. We know that the Saturn V rocket produces 4,560 gigawatt hours, and Saturn V full of Dwayne Johnson's produces 888.47760705277778 gigawatt hours. The Saturn V produces 4,560 gigawatts, meaning it reaches 118 miles altitude. This gives 0.02587719298 miles per gigawatt. A Dwayne Johnson Field Saturn V produces 888.47760705277778 gigawatt hours. Therefore, 888.4 times 0.02 is 22.9913064,961. The conclusion. Dwayne Johnson could travel 23 miles into space if he was the fuel source for a Saturn V rocket. Although this wouldn't actually be space, it's the common line is 62 miles up. Dwayne Johnson is not an efficient means of transportation in a rocket, and working things out like this takes way too long. Next question, but I'm going to hand it over to Tumint.
That's right, this video is in fact a collaboration with another YouTuber here on the platform. Tumint is one of my friends, and he has composed the second part of this slideshow. Gonna link his channel in the description. And thank you for making this incredible Dwayne content. But before we go on to him, I'm just going to show you a small interval between our parts in the form of this video.
I need beans. That cupboard is empty. How about the
fridge? Don't cry, don't cry, don't cry.
I have to go to Tesco. I am here now. I have found the beans.
Hello sir, that beans is 12 bobucks.
I have only got 3 bobucks.
Then no beans, goodbye.
Hello, I have bobucks. Hello Mr. Rock, I have your bobucks, enjoy, goodbye.
I have enough bobucks now.
Okay, here is beans, good day.
Thanks.
Beans is good.
Now on to 2 minutes questions. How many Dwayne Johnsons can you fit on a moon buggy? Dwayne Johnson, the Rock, weighs approximately 118 kilograms, and a moon buggy can hold 490 kilograms. So on Earth, the maximum Dwayne Johnson's a moon buggy can hold is 4.15254237288 Dwayne Johnsons. 4 if you round it. However, on the moon, gravity is different. So 118 kilograms on Earth is equal to 19.5 kilograms on the moon. This means that on the moon you can fit 25.1282051284 Dwayne Johnsons on the moon buggy. So in conclusion, you can get around 25 Dwayne Johnsons on the moon buggy in the moon. Next. How long can Dwayne Johnson survive in a spacesuit in space? A NASA spacesuit can hold 2 tanks of an average of 800 litres of oxygen. Surprisingly, however, no one has worked out how much oxygen Dwayne uses every hour. However, we can still work this out because the average human could survive 16 hours with 1,600 litres of oxygen. Dwayne Johnson is 20.147058823% more average than the average being, according to the calculations done earlier in this presentation. So Dwayne Johnson can live around 120% longer with the oxygen in space, so Dwayne can theoretically survive for 19.2235294117 hours in space with a spacesuit. How many Dwayne Johnsons does it take to reach the moon? Dwayne Johnson is 1.96 meters tall, and the moon is 384,400 kilometers away, and 384,400 kilometers divided by 1.96 is 196,122,449 meters. So it would take around 196,122,449 Dwayne Johnsons to reach the moon. How many Dwayne Johnsons does it take to reach the sun? Dwayne Johnson is 1.96 meters tall, and the sun is 152.07 million kilometers away. And 152.07 million divided by 1.96 meters is 7,758,673,469. So it would take 7,758,673,469 Dwayne Johnsons to reach the sun. Fun facts. Dwayne Johnson has never been to space publicly, apart from here. It's good. I'll link that video in the description, and you'll probably enjoy it. Dwayne Johnson weighs nothing in space. Dwayne Johnson probably cannot breathe in space without a spacesuit. The average human can grow 3% taller in microgravity. However, this does not apply to Dwayne Johnson, seeing as he is not average. In fact, if you pick a random human being, the odds of picking Dwayne Johnson is around 1 in 7,960,000,000. Well, it was at the time of making this anyway. It's probably about 1 in 8 billion now. If the universe is infinitely expanded, then theoretically there are infinite Dwayne Johnsons in the whole of time. During Shoot Chew, Dwayne Johnson featured in the space film Planet 51, a 2009 animated movie by Sony. This shows his familiarization with space. He also spoke about NASA in a series of PSAs. And that, unfortunately, is the end. We've got this epic outro to see us off. Now that was truly beautiful. If you have enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, or maybe even go over to 2Man's channel if you enjoyed what he made. Anyway, that's it for today's lame theory. Otherwise, this is a Dwayne theory, I guess. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.